Stop listening! Instead, stream the uncut version of this discussion by either or both, tipping us on Ko-fi or joining a membership on either Ko-fi or Patreon via the links in the description. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I just realized that I say things and I don't really realize that I'm saying
Think
them.
it through?
Megan, where are you from?
David, really?
Dumb question.
Where are you from? Really?
Here's some trivia. Clearly.
Oh, you pissed Sharondy off so much she just left.
I did not.
She's like, I'm out of here.
Bowen and raised in NC. Bowen. B-O-W-N. That's how
Bound.
she spelled it. At least in my mind.
No, my eyes work, and she spelled the word correctly.
My eyes work, which would have been helpful.
Yeah.
Because everybody at the
Had
time's
she had the
"We're
ticket."
bad parents. Ugh,
Yep.
they're the worst.
Kevin! Yeah, but had she had his ticket, she would have been like, oh, Kevin needs his ticket. But his ticket wasn't there.
People are shaking.
Not one drop of blood.
Shredded or
Like,
But if anything, if it's not creepy, it's boring.
We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond the Walking Dead universe.
Sometimes we give you news. Sometimes we make you laugh. Most times we order you around and make you watch this podcast. This individual was formerly David Cameo.
This individual was previously known as Cosmo Mom 09.
this individual was known as Blazy Gardner.
And today we're here to talk to you about Pluribus's season 1 finale titled La Chica o el Mundo, which means the girl of the world. And saving a little time, Manousos says to Carol before she leaves him, are you here to save the world or are you trying to get the girl?
And Carol kind of says, you know what? I'm going to do both, just not together.
Or none. Because she doesn't answer him. She just speeds off.
I'm going to get the girl and then I'm going to save the world.
I'm going to have my cake and I'm going to eat it too. She did have a lot of cake. Now you can go, "Ooh." Okay, well, moving on to the title even, are there any other instances where this title relates to what we saw?
All right. If you want to get super, super stretchy, you could say the girl is Helen and the world is Bitter Chrysalis. And I'm just grasping at straws, literally. That was just Helen didn't even finish Bitter Chrysalis. That is Carol's world, because I'm assuming it's kind of a semi-autobiographical book for her. And so Helen is the girl and the book is Carol's world.
That didn't enter my mind once during this watch, but
Yeah.
is that her Carol's world anymore? Because you remember how psyched she was about writing the book, and now this episode completely mind erases it. Obviously, Manousos comes into the picture. Unless you finish it between the time that they repair their relationship.
In like 4 days.
There is a bit of a time jump between them vibing.
60 days is when we left off of the last episode. And now we're 64 days. So it's been 4 days.
It's weird.
For them.
Yeah, it was 48 days. But then there was a hang time between that time and the end of that episode. So 12 days. Oh, so well, I don't know. I don't think she could write the whole last book of the White Caro series in 12 days. Though stranger things have happened.
I mean, if she sat down and did nothing but that for 12 days, sure. She's got the time.
And they could backtrack too a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not something I thought we were going to bring up, but here we are. Thanks, Sharondy.
Again, I was just throwing stuff out there. This was a fairly literal title.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you can't be helped. But sometimes even just throwing it out there, you start thinking of other things like the girl could also be Kusimayo in the beginning of the episode. The girl or the world. Well, the girl chose herself to be a part of this thing, this project, this hive mind.
Well, she chose the world, not herself. If
As
she had
we know
chosen
it.
herself,
she
would have stayed herself.
Well put. I agree.
Was the goat a girl?
Mm-hmm.
Was the goat a girl? I didn't check. And then Rachel cue you going,
I know. It was so, that was like the most heartbreaking part. The little goat chasing after her, bleeding. And he's like, don't leave me behind. Oh,
anthropomorphized the little kid, actually.
Yeah.
Or it could be a pygmy goat. I don't know.
Well,
but still.
She was like loving on the goat, and then she huffed the stem cell smoke and went into her seizure fit and became the hive mind.
Everything you're saying is so tickly. Just so tickled by it. Pickle Octodad comes in somewhere. All these cool things you say. Agreed. And also, I had something to say about that. The way that Hive Zosha described the dog Bear Jordan in the last
Mhm.
episode, how it followed its master. And I don't know, we're going to use those terms for now in lieu of better ones. It wouldn't leave him. And so him or knowed him, whatever. So they took care of it. The kid was doing that too. And Kusimao was just like, la, 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 I'm a hive person. I don't care about anything. What happened to caring about things that were following it?
That, and they say that they can't hurt anything, but by letting domesticated animals out into the wild, they are hurting them, because
Yeah.
a goat can fend for itself, but without anything to protect it, it's out there in the middle of the wilderness. Predators are going to get it, and they can't stop it. Also, the dog and the goat were both black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is a world of color. I saw like a snippet on how the color science of, well, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and also Pluribus goes. And there's no more than 3 primary colors on the screen. There's a concerted effort, at least with this series, even more so than the other series Vince Gilligan has done, where in this series, there's no more than 3 general primary colors on the screen. It's so much more pronounced in this episode, to the point where when Carol gets off of the helicopter and there's the overhead shot of it going away, her shirt is charcoal, but in the next cut, her shirt is more dark teal. Just very interesting how they film this show, what they choose to show, just the color science of cinematography. Anyway, something to pay attention with this episode in particular, especially as Carol and Hives are having their 12-day holiday together, which, again, time in this episode is crazy. I love it.
I think yellow is representative of freedom, not being part of the hive mind, human individuality. Because when we first see Carol in the very beginning, she got the yellow jacket on. Manousos is driving the yellow car and a yellow ambulance. The atom bomb is in a yellow crate.
Beige-ish, yeah, lifeless color, yeah. I don't think there's any symbolism in terms of color with this episode, because I'll explain in a second. I mentioned this only because the cinematography color science is because they're interchanging colors, Hives and Carol, throughout the vacation time. You'll see in one shot that it's the first one, actually. Carol's by the poolside, Zosha's in the pool wearing blue, but then when they're in the Alps skiing, Carol's in the blue and yellow, and Zosha's in the red, pink, white toque, and the rest of the outfits also the same-ish colors. So they change hands. I just think it's interesting to see how people pop in different scenes compared to the environment. Even Carol's cul-de-sac, you'll notice the red buildings in the background, the blue sky, and then Manousos' sky blue shirt, very bright blue colored shirt. If you put a particular scene under a pixel filter, you'll see like color blocks just popping out. Well, the show's key colors are primary yellow, primary blue, which is what we're using now currently, and then different sets of other colors.
Helen must be represented by the purple.
Agreed. Like the Waikaro, the purple sand also, that's Helen. I don't know, something there.
When Helen was wrapped up in the blanket and Carol was getting ready to bury her, they made sure to focus on the purple of the blanket.
And the purple orchid too.
When they were playing croquet, her ball was purple. I think Zosha's was red.
They might be the opposite, but we'll see.
In the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul world, red, orange, those were warm, angry colors. Like they signified evil or bad doings and things like that. Whereas blue was peaceful, calm. If you remember, Kim Wexler wore a whole lot of blue there at the beginning.
Oh, and then she tried Houndstooth, and she started getting more adventurous when they were doing shenanigans. The Italianish shirt, flowers.
Blue and red make purple. So if you take the blue, that means calm, peace, serenity, and then you mix that with the orange red of danger, you get the purple. Purple is like somewhere in between.
So Helen is dangerous? I'm kidding.
In a sense, she's dangerous now because Carol keeps finding out all these things about her. She didn't really like the books. They were okay. She didn't finish Bitter Chrysalis, monitoring Carol's alcohol intake and hiding it.
Well, because...
So like maybe she is kind of a danger.
I want to get into that a little bit more, but I do want to backtrack a little bit to the Kusima. I feel like Rachel right now. Well, we're going to go linear a little bit. Because also it's in an effort to get that out of the way, too. It's a small scene that happens once, comes back sort of at the end when Zosha mentions, oh, just now we joined Kusimayu, literally at the ski lodge. Important to remember, time is wonky in this episode. It starts out later. It backtracks 12 days to the events of Manousos and her. And then at the end, it brings us back to the present, but really where this episode started. But I do want to go back to Kusimayu because in segueing from you explaining the color science of Vince Gilligan, something did happen that was very Vince Gilligan-y to Kusimayu while she was being joined. Did you notice the fly buzzing on the screen?
Yes,
Yes.
I
Okay.
did.
Okay. You catch my drift? What do flies mean?
Before you even bring that up, they also focused really heavily on the flies when Helen was laying out on the porch wrapped up in the blanket.
I'm only
Yes.
mentioning it because you mentioned that, how prevalent they were when they were. But, you know, you can easily excuse that of, okay, it's a dead body. Of course, it's going to attract flies eventually. Fine. So let me read the AI amalgam of what flies mean in the Gilliverse. So Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, used the iconic Fly episode. It was actually called Fly. It was Breaking Bad Season 3, Episode 10, as a low-budget bottle episode to explore Walter White's guilt, obsession, and loss of control. Keep those in mind.
Mhm.
Guilt, obsession, and loss of control, symbolizing the inescapable contamination, quote unquote, of his criminal life, with the fly representing disorder and his lingering conscience, a thematic device that subtly echoes across the universe as a quest for purity versus inevitable messiness. Walt sees the fly as a contaminant, mirroring his feeling that his entire life is tainted by crime and guilt. Jane's death, the plane crash, etc. Walt's obsessive hunt for the fly reflects his frantic attempts to control his chaotic world, a control he's losing. Cool. The 0.9% impurity embodies the idea that no matter how perfect Heisenberg tries to be, a small flaw, the fly impurity, will always remain.
That impurity is what started the Walker
Apocalypse
outbreak.
in the
Yeah.
Walking Dead
That
universe?
0.9% impurity is what started the zombie outbreak.
On Breaking Bad, but for the Walking Dead universe. Is that
Right,
what you're saying?
right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the theory at least.
Yeah.
Gilligan has noted flies represent disorder or chaos, even mentioning hearing a fly in the background of the first episode of Breaking Bad's final season, connecting the theme across the series. Better Call Saul, while not as central as in Breaking Bad, the theme of purity versus corruption, order versus chaos, and the persistent presence of moral decay, like flies, subtly weaves through Better Call Saul, especially in Jimmy McGill's transformation into Saul Goodman. In essence, the Fly episode is a masterclass in character-driven storytelling using simple nuisance to present profound themes of morality, guilt, and the inevitable messiness of life that both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul explore. I like this because in all things pluribus, there's the theme of, well, it's like pod people, only reverse. It's the Borg people, only reverse. Vibe with me here, because isn't this joining thing, isn't that the opposite of corruption? Isn't it uniformity? Isn't it order? Unless they're saying the joining of Kusimayo herself. She was the first one that we know of that received her special
Stem cell smoke.
unless the serum doesn't work as intended and it's the essence of their downfall, it's nothing that we can know. What does the fly mean to you? I'm curious to know what you think this means.
I'm going to use this in reference to Helen. Carol thought that she and Helen had this perfect relationship, that Helen had her back all the time. But now that Helen is gone, she is finding out that that is not true, that their relationship was not what she thought it was. So there's the imperfection of what she thought their relationship was.
The imbalance.
Just because she wasn't honest about the book?
And hiding the censor. You think all the time, she must love my books. She thinks they're great. That's why she's bolstering me and everything. She could have been honest and said, I'll stand behind you. They're doing great for us, but I don't really think this is the greatest book. But she didn't do that. She lied to her the whole time about how these books are great.
She chose her words very wisely, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, the lawyer. We're not going to take the stem cells out of your body.
Mm-hmm.
What she thought it was is not what it was. And
Right.
that's chaos.
I love how I have a difference of how I see their relationship. Let me give you an example, and maybe it'll link back to what we just talked about with the flies. You find out a lot more about even Carol's relationship to the hive, because it's the hive. It's not Zosha. You have to keep remembering that. And how the hive loves all the survivors equally. And even Manousos says, I have this fear in my brain that you're going to argue with me about this, but I do agree with Manousos that isn't it evil to equally love an ant as a human being?
It
Disagree with me.
100% depends on the human being.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Yes.
I am going to disagree with you. I don't think it's
See?
evil.
It's evil. It's
No,
100% evil.
It's not evil.
Yep.
I'm not sure that it's right. I'm not sure that I
Okay.
agree with it.
Fine.
But
I'll-
I'm not
sure.
going to say that it's evil.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Fine.
Evil
we'll
is
just call
very
it right.
strong.
We'll call it not right, which is evil, basically. But fine, we'll call it not right just for.
But on the other hand, I also agree
For
with
the
Sharon D.
fifties.
There are some ants I would rather save,
Really?
and some humans that don't deserve saving.
An ant that you have literally no feelings for.
Who says I have no feelings for a particular ant? Maybe this ant
Have you
and
ever
I have
had
bonded.
no? Have you ever had feelings for an ant? Ever?
Not an ant specifically, but maybe a different type of insect or bug.
I just got through this whole thing about people telling the truth.
How about my cat? I have stronger feelings for my cat than
We're not
some
talking
humans.
about cats. We're talking about ants.
I can at least say that I don't
They're
have
more
any
like you.
strong feelings for an ant, but I have some certainly strong feelings against some people.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ants do more for
Wrong.
the human species than some humans do.
Hard disagree.
No, they work hard and they.
No, that's
No.
just what they do. It's in their nature.
You're saying that it's just the ant's nature, but people choose to be jerks that puts them on
Or
a
they
plane
choose to
below an
be
ant.
amazing.
Mm.
See, it's the choice that differentiates us.
But it's the
Okay.
choice. And if you're choosing to be worse than an ant,
Yeah.
then that's your choice.
And that's your choice.
And I'm going to choose the ant over you.
Yep. Agreed.
But people can also be reasoned with. People can also change. I didn't say they do all the time, but they can.
Mm,
Well, can doesn't mean much if they're not going to do it.
exactly.
That's a whole other story.
There's the difference. The ant can be excused because it doesn't have the ability, whereas the person does have that ability.
Mm-hmm.
That makes the ant better.
What did
Yeah.
Sharon just do, Rachel? You're gonna predict what I'm gonna say now?
She fell into my trap.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ugh.
It's not
Why?
a trap.
Why? Because it's true that you could have more feelings about somebody who has a choice of ruining your life. And in fact, even when Carol discovers that the hive loves every one of the survivors equally, she can't get mad. She doesn't get mad. In fact, the shot. Well, see, here's the thing. Vince Gilligan, the way he filmed that realization, it was so beautiful. Before she leaves with Hive Zosha, she finds out before that, still goes with Hive Zosha
Mhm.
when they're at the ski lodge. And she says, if you love me, you wouldn't do this. This is after the realization, but she has a very sincere and vulnerable look in her eyes. And Carol stares right into the camera, into the hive, and it dawns on her, my eggs, the ones I froze with Helen. You have them, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's at that moment where she's like, they say they love me, but this is just what they do. They'll do whatever they can to propagate.
Just like Helen said she loved me, but she went behind my back and did things that I didn't know about.
Hard disagree. Because what Helen did was get Carol out of her comfort zone, showed her something beautiful that she wouldn't have otherwise done for herself. And what was she doing with the alcohol sensor? Let's walk through that.
It was a bad thing for a good reason.
Right, which the hive wouldn't do.
From
Right.
Carol's perspective, here's Helen. She loved me, but here's the things she did that I didn't know about that hurt me now.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But here's this
That must
other
have been
person
hard.
who does and says everything and is honest about everything. And she loves my books and she wouldn't monitor my alcohol intake. So she's in this beautiful thing where she's like, this woman is perfect and they
Mhm.
can't hurt me because they can't get my cells.
How perfect.
But she has that veil ripped from her face. This is exactly the same thing. They can't lie to me, but they're
Oh.
still going to hurt me.
You're saying that the hive is the same as Helen.
Yes, but also not, if that makes
Okay.
sense. But
okay.
yes,
I see what you're saying.
The hive can create the stem cell smoke for Carol, but they can't administer it without her permission.
they can because they just said they wouldn't take her cells. They wouldn't do anything forcible, but wafting some air is not forcible.
Well, let me move on to the next line.
They can't administer it without her permission.
So they view the joining as an act of love, not an act of consent or, see, Megan thinks the same thing too. She's going to say initial administration. Yeah, there you go. The initial administration without consent. Carol says, if you love me, you wouldn't do this. So we did ask this question multiple times. Can they even do this? Carol, please understand, we have to do this. Not we kind of want to do
Right.
this.
Well, don't you feel like that would be the same thing if Carol had caught Helen putting the thing in there? She would have been like, why are you doing this? I thought you loved me. And Helen would be like, I'm doing this because I do love you.
Charity, so many points on that one. Fine. Perfect. Because we have to do this because we love you. Because I love you, Carol. Didn't that feel a little, she's digging, she's
Manipulative. She's using every power she has to try to draw Carol to her side. And she's like, oh, Carol appreciates it when we use I as a pronoun. So, Carol, I love you.
It's like one thing if you have to give them the shot. You're at a doctor's office, you're going to get a shot. It sucks. But it'd be better if they were okay with it because then they won't struggle.
You mean when the lamb sees the knife coming, it taints the meat?
Mm-hmm. But also it goes to something that happened in this series, which was what did they do when they rolled out the hive mind virus? They said they went individually at first, got consent or not. Maybe they showed them what it could be like. I don't know. But they did it. They went person to person. Then,
We watched it happen at first.
well,
There was no consent there. That was somebody grabbing somebody and kissing them.
it happened on multiple vectors. We discussed this.
Right. I can't remember the exact verbiage that they used, but what I took from it was that they had to expedite this process because
At the end of it,
the government was
Right.
going to weaponize it if they didn't.
I remember it being the military got wind of it as it was happening at the Air Force Base. And so they had to administer it in the chemtrails, etc.
Sure.
You saw the reports on the news, and they're like, they have to just do it. But as Hive Zosha was explained to Carol, the way they first started doing this was, and also they got the military, or at least some of the military and the astronauts first, because they were out in space somehow. But see, we didn't see that part. We saw what we saw. We were like already midway into it. We didn't know that, but we were midway into it. I'm just linking it to explain what Zosha is talking about with Carol. It's like, well, I prefer you be okay with it, but even if you're not okay with it, like Helen points to Sharondy, I'm exposing you to something that you wouldn't have otherwise done yourself. And it's the ultimate form of love, is joining, right? Is to be melded with the person you love, is according to them, basically. It's like the ice cabin in Iceland, right? Where they're looking at the northern lights. It's like Carol would have never chosen this for herself, but Helen took her out of her comfort zone and showed her a beauty that she wouldn't have otherwise done herself. In fact, when she's with Zosha, what are they doing? They're in heated pools in countrysides where it's warm. She can wear a bathing suit for the most part. And then the next is a hot tub in a high-rise Manhattan apartment, the apex of comfort in a big city, right? Not in the middle of nowhere. But then what happens? Then Carol, at the last vacation spot, she's in cold Swiss Alps. Maybe that's to your point, Sharondy, why the colors change in the outfits of the people. Because Carol's wearing reds, maybe a little pops of yellow in the red, in the bathing suit, walking across the shore. Zosha's in her blue bathing suit. In the pool, she's also in a blue bathing suit. And Carol is in a red and white, or red and yellowish design. Red and white on the shore. Then they go to the Alps, the skiing. I'm assuming it's the Alps. I don't know why I'm thinking this. And then Carol's the one in the blue. Zosha's the one in the Hive, Zosha's the one in the red, etc.
The atomic skates, atomic, which they made sure to put in big, bright red letters on the skates.
Nice.
Those were red.
Cool. Little allusion to what we're going to see in the future. But it's cold. It's in the middle of nowhere, remote, not in a city or in a close countryside or shore vacation spot. This was cold, out in the middle of nowhere, desolate, something maybe Helen might have suggested. Because up until this point, we're all in agreement. The Hive is charm offensing Carol.
Yes.
And their relationship is more of like, we'll do whatever you want. Aside from maybe a few tweaks, how does it make her any different than any of the other survivors who don't realize that what they're doing is really ingratiating themselves? It sucks to realize this because she's really dating herself, to quote a Fallout concept. She's dating a yes man. Even if you kill all the other factions, you can still complete the game if you find yes man, because they'll help you complete the game. Mm-hmm. And that's Hive Zosha. You'll even notice in the scenes, it's like she's dating herself. Carol and Hive Zosha's movements are mirrored in each of the scenes. Less so in the pool, but more on the shore. They're kind of following each other. It's as if Carol is vacationing with herself. There's just the warm body. Isn't that kind of weird? Off-putting even? Kind of gross? Kind of Goomba-ish?
If you want good company, sometimes you're forced to fraternize with yourself.
Yeah, but you have an awareness that you are partying with yourself. If you don't, Carol.
I mean, I feel like Carol probably knew it deep down. She's just choosing to ignore it because she really has no other option other than to just be completely alone.
Well, that's what pissed her off about Lakshmi, is that the just complete lack of acknowledgement. But she ended up being just like Lakshmi.
That was funny too, though. It wasn't me this time.
But the whole time, all I was thinking was, oh, I don't have to pay this actor. I could just pretend like I talked to her, because obviously we know her responses.
That was funny.
You're my son. Right? It's in your head.
Took her long enough to call.
Although, I'll tell you what, though, we haven't heard if Lakshmi is wanting to join the Hive.
Oh, we talked about that. I just got to that part in our... By the way, just so everybody knows, I'm still not done with editing our last episode, which is why you don't have any ammunition, unless you got the unedited episode, Jason, in the chat. I know I'm mad at you.
I don't know why you're mad about that. Yeah,
listening all the time. My God, don't run away like
David,
the Hive Mind did to Carol.
Be nice.
Sorry. Jason, don't ghost us for 40 days. Don't do it. He's laughing. Thank God. Oh, I dodged the bullet, guys. Okay. Anyway, I hadn't finished the edit for our last episode in time for this recording, so hopefully soon. I'm nearing the end of that. Right. If Lakshmi's over it. I was wondering about that, but then obviously she calls, so she's obviously not over it. So confirmation of some kind.
When we met her, she wasn't like, I can't wait to join them. It's not like she's like the most go along with the bull person as we've seen. You know, she's kind of testy like Carol. So maybe the reason they focus on her so much in regards to the other 12 is because she's going to become important later, maybe as an ally or something. Because we haven't really heard about any others. I can't remember their names because we only got introduced to them
Shume,
in one episode.
Kusumayo, the
One
guys who
episode.
has a Mongolian name that I cannot pronounce.
Kusumayo we see because she made a statement when we met her that she wanted to join. Nobody else made that statement.
Right.
And like I said, out of all of them, I feel like Lakshmi is the most Carol adjacent.
In terms of temperament.
And just like Carol doesn't really want to acknowledge that Zosha's one of the hive mind, deep inside she knows it, just like Lakshmi is with her son. Like, he's still my son. I know he's really not, but he still is. But maybe it'll get to the point where she's like, okay, they really want me to do this, so I'm going to back out and be like, no, I don't want to do this.
Let's go a little further with that. First of all, let's have a little grace for Carol in that moment because this is after 40 days of isolation, forcing her to have a change of heart. Second, her falling for Hive Zosha is us trying to understand everybody else. How could you not know that this is not your kid and this is not your husband and this is not your mother? This episode is why. This episode should have been called Charm Offensive 2, I guess.
There's a saying, there is no one so blind as those who will not see, which basically means you're willingly not seeing something that makes you more blind than someone who's actually blind. Carol and Lakshmi, they're choosing to be blind, even though they know deep down that it's not real.
See, and that's the thing. In Charm Offensive, she resurrected an experience that she had when she was younger, when it came to the book. Who does that? And then it tailspins into this whole, well, I'm going to cling on further to this person when I see the thing in others that you hate in yourself. When you see Manousos doing so many things that she did not like, but even further, seeing in Manousos what she saw in herself, testing the edges of this hive mind, discovering new and horrible things. Arguably, Manousos does this way better than she does, but still, it still scares her because Manousos at least prepared, having asked them. Oh, I will ask them now. I love the show don't tell of what happened. Why did you go away from Carol? Well, she got mad and a bunch of us died. And so he says, okay, why don't you get comfortable and then I'm going to do the same thing. But still, it scares her. And to the point where she pulls a shotgun up to him. Right, Rachel, when I say, have you ever had feelings for an ant? And you're like, you don't know? So that's what Carol did in that moment. She's like, well, now, well, you can't do this. My love, she's my love. I'm going to cling on to her even more, right? Just despite Manousos.
Even Manousos says they're all better off dead if they don't have their soul. Yet he doesn't kill any of them when he could, easily.
Right. See the differences between the two people now by the end of the episode?
That's a little bit of blindness on his part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's also testing a theory.
He could have easily just yelled at them without warning them and killed a whole bunch of people. But before, he's like, well, you know, they don't need to live if they don't have a soul. He's blind a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, in a sense, isn't he a little bit more flexible to change, to adaptation? I'm surprising myself, and let me surprise you a little bit further by saying every episode I find out how wrong I was about Manousos. Because when he says they don't have a soul, it triggered me. I don't know what the best word for this is, because I kept saying different theories about Manousos and who he could have been. He works in a storage facility, so he must want to disconnect himself from society. La Virgen del Carmen means she's the patroness saint of hermits, which means he loves his isolation. He hates people so much that he wants to bring them back because the hive stole their Okay, everybody, just calm down, David. I'm wrong 2 times, even about him possibly being gay. Yeah, most likely wrong about that. We don't know one way or the other, but that's the whole other story. But the whole souls thing really triggered me. So I'll say this much. He is a lot more religious than I took him for. We're all in agreement. I think, Sharon, you were onto that anyway from the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, right? That kind of Catholic thing that you called out.
Yeah, because we pointed out the thing hanging
The
from
icon,
his
yeah.
rearview mirror, and he stayed at churches.
To your point. Great. Then we're just eating the crumbs that Manousos gives us with every episode, or at least I am. I recognize that guys will do this sometimes. And we talked about this when it came to the ghoul in Fallout, how he'll say, do what I say and not explain why. And also you're saying it in such a way that would necessitate you explaining why because you're just mean. So maybe explain.
I'm just going to say if he'd snapped his fingers at me, I would have been like, go get in your ambulance
Give me your phone.
and go drive back to Paraguay because this is done.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I'm recognizing that can be seen as a very masculine trait.
We talk all the time about like people reading the room. The hive mind really doesn't read the room that well, even though they have every mind collectively in the world. An example of that would be when they're having this beautiful vacation and Zosha's still like, yeah, but when you join the hive, it's going to be so much much better. And Carol's all like, really? But
Helen,
here,
we're on about this again, Helen.
right. So here, Manousos is like, get in my ambulance. And Carol's like, no, I'm not getting in an ambulance with a strange guy. That never entered his mind that was going to be a thing. Hello.
Right, because when you're a
he's
good guy,
blind
you
in
don't
his
think
own
about
way.
how it looks. Because again, religious, he's a very good guy. Probably, we don't know. It didn't look good, but he probably thinks he's a very, very nice guy. And so he doesn't think about how it, especially when you're the last person on Earth.
After seeing that video, she's on his side. And all of a sudden she's like,
He's
no.
on her side.
She wants to end this too. But instead of being like a normal person, he's like, get in my ambulance with me, this strange man who just showed up with a machete. Just get in the van with me. Get in the ambulance with me.
And he's getting very forceful about it too. That was the other thing. That scene also kind of mirrors when Zosha comes back too.
Maybe his
Welcome
mom
home.
really wasn't a bee. Maybe she was
Well,
just reacting to him.
I do hope they go into that a bit more. But again, we understood that the whole reasoning for her being a bee was that she abandoned him, which is why she didn't know anything about his whereabouts when the fall happened. There's a general awareness. He exists somewhere. I don't know where he is, though.
To throw some ugliness on it, women in super masculine countries, like in South America, they tend to do what they're told. And this was an instance where she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I'd probably be more in relation to his dad than him. But maybe it was so bad with his dad, even though Manousa's dad is probably the only person he knows, that she couldn't handle it and she had to go. Yeah, so maybe it's not her fault, I guess.
Maybe mom wasn't the bee after all.
Yeah, we can't take him at his word, right? That's true.
I don't think he means anything bad. He's not picking up on the social cues that are being laid out here. If he rolled up to any woman in America and said, get in the back of this ambulance with me, the majority of them would be like, oh, no,
Absolutely.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, that's how I squared the circle about the fact that he chose a profession where he was just taking care of people's loved things, but there's no room for them. I thought it was to isolate himself, he represents forgotten things. I think it's more, given his religious background, given the fact that he does want to save the world. That was a squaring of the circle there too. Like, why would you want to save the world if the world discarded you? No, he loves the world in the best way he knows how. I will take care of your unused things. I will love them as I love them. I won't even borrow them, right? That's interesting because when it came to the unused, unloved things, he was actually okay with breaking the locks to their things, right? Because it doesn't square as he's traveling.
He did leave the note when he broke into the things. He was like, sorry I had to break into your stuff, but I will give you restitution.
Okay, thank you for catching that. I totally mind erased that, actually. Okay, fine. Well, so then that actually keeps going. So he does respect the things that people tend to forget. That's fine. And so it's more of I'm not good with people, and they're actively used love things too. Throwing the phone in the storm drain.
He doesn't want to bring the world back the way it was. If you're okay with just killing everybody because you think they don't have a soul and they're evil, what are you wanting to bring back? Because if everybody's dead, what kind of world is there going to be?
Yeah, well, and he's also without any information whatsoever, so let's give him that much, attributing moral judgment to their act of taking away their souls, let's say. Or, again, he doesn't even know probably that talking to Zosha, because, right, he calls for Zosha rather than anybody. So I don't think he even understands this concept of the hive thing. He's aware that they're communicating, but up until that moment, he doesn't realize until he talks to Rick that he could just talk to anybody. He doesn't have to talk to Zosha. Again, we're not appreciating the fact that he doesn't have everything.
I was a little, maybe not surprised, but Carol was really possessive.
I'm not. She turned into Lakshmi.
If someone was talking to Helen, would she have been that, come on, Helen, we're leaving? Is it because she knows that Zosha wouldn't really do anything to protect herself?
100% that.
Because Helen would have been like, no, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Right, Helen would have had her wits about her.
Zosha's just like, yeah, I'm just going to do whatever you tell me to do. And all the things we watched with her and Helen in the first episode, I don't feel like that was the kind of relationship they had. I don't feel like she was super possessive of Helen. This is one of those clues where she's like, I know it's not real, but I'm going to overlook that clue and pretend like it's real until that clue is shoved in my face.
It could be also a two things can be true situation as well. Think about it. It can't defend itself. Because remember we said in the last episode, I'm worried about you. You're going to starve to death. There's a genuine care when she's worried about that, even if it means you leave me, right? And there's a little bit of seeing through the other side of the pain. Even if it means you leave me again, I'm going to save you. Zosha is even saying to Carol in this episode, near the end of both episodes, even if it means you protest, joining. I'm doing it for your own good. You will love being a part of the hive. I'm doing this because I love you. So Carol saying to them, I'm going to solve your starvation problem because I love you, even if it means you leave me again, even if I have to be isolated from you. When it comes to why she saves Zosha, there's an additional stank of, well, what we said earlier. Okay. She's really saving herself. She's saving her post-apocalypse lifeline as well. I hate saying that because you don't want to think that way about the people that you love. I love Carol in the series, but also in as much as I love myself, because your protagonists are your ideal self in some ways. And sometimes there's a little ugliness, and I can accept that to a limit, right? I can accept the ugliness of somebody to a point, but isn't the protagonist kind of your self-insert as well? So you're really saving yourself, that part of yourself. Go ahead and read it, because I see your eyes darting, Chris. Don't answer my question. Just go to what Megan's saying.
Don't worry, Megan. He's always like this.
Yes. He's always concerned that nobody's listening to what he just said.
Megan says, I'm not sure she would have been that way with Helen, but the world is completely different now. I think she almost feels like Zosha is the only thing she has left. Going back to her, knowing they are all one being, so to speak, but shoving that knowledge to the back of her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, It took me a lot of time. Don't worry about it, Megan. Dave is just like that. It's nothing.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about that. They do. So yeah, she's actually covering the other side of the coin I was mentioning, is that, yeah, that's your lifeline. You will actively shove things in the back of your mind to survive, to adapt. You had mentioned that too, Sharondy. To adapt means to sometimes throw out some things that happen to you so that you can move through a terrible situation. You'd said, why would Lakshmi choose Ravi and say you? Rachel, I'm looking at you actually. You said, why would Lakshmi choose a high version of Ravi and her husband and her mother? Well, yeah, you adapt. You will take whatever's there, because what else can you do? Rage against the machine?
When we see Carol have this reaction, she goes and rescues Zosha from Manousos and brings her back, and she's all flustered talking to Zosha. And she's like, well, you're my...
Oh, yeah. Oh, also my possessive.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
She has a word in her head, and it's not chaperone. What do you think she wanted to call her?
Girlfriend. That was my first. You're my Oh.
But she heard literally in her head what Zosha had said just prior. She said, I love Manousos and you equally, though.
Also, I think in that moment, Carol was hurt to know that they have the same feelings for Manousos as her.
And that there's no loyalties.
Because she even says, like, well, he's a stranger. You said so yourself. And she's like, oh, it doesn't matter. That's got to be a blow to Carol.
Manousos was the aunt.
Yeah.
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 See? It's
metaphorically speaking. Yeah.
But wait, let me say the thing right. It feels evil. It feels cruel.
Cruel. You throw the word evil around a lot, David. Cruel is accurate.
I'm
evil,
trying to get you to have a seizure. That's what I'm trying to do when I'm throwing these words around.
The word evil means something, but she was definitely, it was cruel. It was cruel.
Take me so seriously sometimes.
The hive has never lied to her about that, though, other than what she asked them to.
But I think what we have come to learn about Carol is that Carol very much lives in a land of delusion. Carol believes what she has created in her own mind, regardless of what is real.
But she always has.
Exactly. Helen is a perfect example of that.
In the before times, Helen seemed to be the leader of their relationship in the sense that Carol wrote the books and Helen did everything else. Helen paid the bills. Helen took care of the travel stuff.
It's like her agent.
Helen was the leader of their relationship. And now Carol's in that position with Zosha. She thinks they're doing all the stuff, but she's the one saying, I want to do this. I want to do that. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. Zosha just goes along with it. So now Carol is in Helen's seat, basically.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I was going to say something else. And then I was like, now I'm obsessed over this. Yeah. What's it like on the other side? Helen more or less steered that ship.
Helen was her first chaperone in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And what does a chaperone do? Kind of gently guides sometimes people around, right? Like, oh, you're supposed to go here. You're scheduled for this meeting.
Helen very much allowed the delusion in Carol's mind to perpetuate.
And it was harmless for the most part.
Well, for the most part, it was beneficial because they were making money from these books. And as long as Carol was happy, they were making money and everything was great.
Now I remember what I was going to say. And actually kind of fits here too. Because if you think about it either which way, I've said this before on the show about relationships. And I still believe that. I think more or less relationships are completely unequal. It's going to go to a greater theme of the show, by the way. We, in society, we have laws relating to equality. We're all equal under the law. But what the show really, really touches on, and I grasped it several episodes ago, but I couldn't articulate until this episode, because Manousos specifically mentions, oh, they love the ant as much as they love the human. Clearly, that's not exactly true, but it's for the most part kind of almost true. Because, right, we talked about it when it came to the wolves. Wolf over here. Whatever, anyway. I mean that to say only that in nature, because these are natural beings, they're not really intentional beings, people that have choice and intention. They do have some choice, but not as much. Nature itself is completely unequal. It's an equation that is constantly trying to balance itself, but never quite getting there. And then humans are these great equalizers. They have adaptation, they have desires, they have competing desires. They lie to themselves, they lie to others. They tell the truth for the most part, but they still, when it counts, sometimes poop the bed. They're chaos almost. They don't deserve to be the apex predators, but here they are. I say this because nature is unequal. Relationships in themselves have a sort of harmony, but they're not equal. When it comes to duties, couples, you try to do the thing where, okay, you do this and I do that, and you do this and I do that in equal amount. Doesn't end up working out. And every time you try to do that, or you try to force this equality in a marriage or in a relationship, trust me when I say, if you harp over the details, it doesn't work out. As long as you feel like there's a harmony, you each do your thing and everybody's okay with that thing, even if it's an unequal amount, it somehow works. It's the same thing with people. There's no such thing as real equality, other than the construct of this idea, this lofty goal of equality. We're equal under the law, but everything else we're unequal. There are hierarchies galore.
I'd say equal under the law is also a construct, because that is
True.
not
It's an ideal.
in any way true.
It's an ideal that we're pushing, right? A more perfect union, the pursuit of happiness. We're directionally trying to get there, even though we recognize in nature, there's no such thing as equality. So when it goes back to Helen and Carol's relationship, obviously there was an imbalance. If Carol was allowed to do everything that she wanted to do, Zosha, and it would get boring. Also, she says it herself. I have every happy cell firing off in my body, but I'm not satisfied, A, and B, but she doesn't say this, but she really is. She's like, now she's just pulling out of the mattresses. She's trying to figure out why she isn't happy. But she's also saying out loud, I keep thinking it's going to be swept out from underneath me, basically. And yet it doesn't. But I still feel that way. Why? Why do I feel that way? Because she's not being challenged. There's no compliment to Carol. There's only, I'm going to do what you want to do. Whereas you think there's equal balance with Zosha, Zosha is trying to equalize her. No, it's completely imbalanced. It's everything that Carol wants to do and none of the other the half of it. There's no harmony.
Because there can't be. They don't possess the ability to make a decision.
Can't pick an apple.
They said it in episode 2 when Kumba wanted to take Zosha.
Right.
And Zosha was like, I can't choose, because if I choose him, it'll hurt you, and if I choose you, it'll hurt him. She couldn't make a choice. Even if Carol was like, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Switzerland, or do you want to go to, I don't know, Tahiti? Zosha would be like, I can't choose.
Whatever you like.
Whichever one you want to go to.
I don't know about that. We saw Zosha make a pretty big decision in the last episode when she kissed Carol.
To whose benefit was that?
And it's also the way they transfer the
Virus.
thing in the beginning.
But she didn't transfer the virus. She just kissed her. If Carol had presented a choice, do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? Neither one of those choices is going to result in Carol's unhappiness. So I'm inclined to believe she would be able to choose between two positive choices.
Well, two of Carol's choices, not
that's
any
what
of her
I'm
own.
saying.
Right.
If Carol
right.
says, I'm happy either way, but do
So
you want to
just
do
solved
this
your
or
own
that?
question. Right.
But would she? Because deep down, Carol really wants to go to one place. Say Carol really wants to go to Tahiti.
That's a good point.
But she's like, let me just throw it out there. But you can't read her mind. But they
Right.
don't know which one she would choose. So Zosha could be like, well, if I chose and that's not where you really wanted to go, then I would be hurting you too. I'm not saying she can't. I'm just saying Carol's the leader.
She's definitely the guiding force. And if Carol said, I don't want to make the choices anymore, I want you to decide something, I think she would.
But based on Carol's fifis, not their own.
Well, obviously, everything they do is for Carol.
Or what they think Helen would have wanted. Something I brought up before is they're pulling off of Helen's old dead memories.
Right.
Helen is not in a place where she
You
could
have to say
formulate
dead memories.
whatever's happening. Helen's not there to take that in. So
I see why
they're
you said that.
operating
It's
on
fine.
Helen's old memories, not what Helen
Okay.
would do in this situation.
And I would agree, because we saw Zosha get a little bit of attitude when they're playing Okay. Yeah, she gave her a little bit of sass because Helen's memories told them that's what Carol would like, is a bit of that challenge. So they do have that much information, at least, that Carol would appreciate a challenge. She does like a bit of sass.
Right. But they wouldn't go as far as to take her to Iceland into that ice hotel, knowing full well that she did not like it, even though at the end she was convinced. If they know even in the moment that Carol's not going to like exactly what is happening, it would affect them, I think, even to the point. They also recognize that maybe in this moment that Carol doesn't want Helen. She wants herself or wants a life of pleasure or something to that effect. But it does go back to imbalance and what it takes to have harmony rather than being concerned with equality. And the hive can't do that. They can't provide that level of uniqueness when it comes to relationship. It's not possible.
They're not very good at subtlety.
Because you have to want something too.
And you have to have a grasp on the way humans communicate in order to use subtlety. They just don't read social cues very well.
Like Manousos. When it comes to relationships, there's also sacrifice. If you're human and you're offered all the foods in the world that you could ever want, reject the things that you don't want, they won't refuse you. Are you really going to have to sacrifice? No. If you ask the hive to sacrifice for you, you get all of the benefit. You get all the windfall because the hive doesn't want anything. They just want you to be happy. But don't you get something really gratifying? Doesn't it make your relationship stronger to have to sacrifice? It sucks in the moment sometimes. But when you do that thing, when you go out of your way to do something really special for somebody else and it works and it lands and it's perfect, it elevates your relationship, doesn't it? And they are never going to experience that. Carol and the hive are never going to have that feeling. It's going to be all them. It's going to be all one direction. Because it's not just about, oh, you give me this, I give you that. And it works. And the relationships and all the things that the relationships go through. They go through tough times too. And sometimes when you get to the other side of that tough time, you're never going to have that with the hive. You become stronger.
Because the only thing they want is Carol's mind. The only sacrifice she can give is to give her entire self up. And that's not going to work.
I was going to say you fell into my trap, but not really. I didn't think of that. But it sounds like something I would say because you're asking Carol to give herself, her complete self up for their love. It's a lot. Your independence is the biggest thing that you have.
She wouldn't have completely given her entire self up to make Helen happy.
Yeah. Wow, that's tough. Well, so then that goes to a question that I was thinking of throughout the series. Do you think Carol, for the most part, is more of a narcissistic personality? Right? Because in a way, you said earlier, she has to kind of delude herself into thinking she's successful, or even if, according to her own standards, something feels amiss. So do you think she has to be a narcissist to kind of exist in this world or in the prior world?
I don't think she has to be narcissistic. The desire to remain yourself isn't necessarily a narcissistic one. I don't even think she was narcissistic before then, because when the guy in the cab asked her, hey, should I know you? She didn't say, of course you should know me. I'm this great writer and everybody loves my stuff. She was like, no. Unless you like mindless crap. So like, I feel like if she was narcissistic, it would have gone another. She'd been like, oh, I'm Carol Sturka and I write all these books and they make TV shows out of them. She didn't do that. She was like, nope.
An argument could be made, though, that the point where we enter is where that is falling apart. She's seeing how crap her work is and it's just not holding up.
No, I feel like she's felt that way for a long time. We don't know, obviously, because they didn't tell us. She hit it big and she's making money off of it and it's commercialized crap. It's not what she really wants to do. Now, maybe if Bitter Chrysalis came out and it was a huge success, and then somebody was like, hey, should I know you? Yes, I wrote this amazing book called Bitter Chrysalis, and that is who I am. Maybe that would have been like that, but it has to be something she's proud of.
You know, I'll take your thought further. I think even with Bitter Chrysalis, she would have eventually gotten that point where like, oh, it's like what Helen says. I can't see myself from the outside. I needed Helen for that feedback. Even then, she would be like, oh, this is not good. This isn't it either.
Do you ever go back and read stuff that you wrote like 10 years ago, and then you're like, oh my God, who was this person?
It's a mixed bag. I'm not a good example. Definitely with some things. Okay, I'll give you an accurate example of this. Earlier iterations of this podcast, this is genius. This is awesome. Then you realize, oh, the sound is terrible. Whoa, what was I thinking? It was the best you had at the time, which is probably what Carol thought about even her latest book. Not her latest book, but maybe the prior books. It was like, yeah, I'm on a roll. Just like with Zosha, you have to tell yourself certain things to survive. literally survive. Sometimes it's the things that you do in your waking life, in your job. Carol with her books, probably for a very long time, she thought, oh, you know what, this is pretty good. It's pretty all right. And then you start seeing yourself in the rear view going like, I don't know what I was thinking myself. Yeah, you get a little fan feedback and it's great. And people are responding to the thing you release, but you're like, even I can't huff my own farts anymore enough to really like this. For farts of forgetting, you're like, yeah, I love that. Huff your own farts, no good, huh, Rachel?
How many times have I posted something, I'm like, this is freaking great, and like 2 people liked it, and then I've posted some mindless garbage
and it gets a huge
pumped out
response
meme, and it get like 10,000 likes. It's like, what in the world is this?
It's the algorithm, boys. What to tell you.
I posted a Game of Thrones meme one time, 100 likes every day on this one stupid Game of Thrones meme, and I'm like, people, I have put out way better stuff since then. There's other things out there. This is not the only thing I've done, but that's what everybody liked. So I can feel what Carol's coming from. I wish everybody liked the better stuff that I'd done.
And then you realize, just like I did when I was doing music, people like the thing that you didn't expect them to like. And it's not even your favorite one. It's so common with every creative endeavor. You just don't see your work from the outside. Literally, I produced an EP with a bunch of dudes. And I think you might have heard it at one point. And literally, it's the one song that is not my favorite at all, that everybody loves. I would have thought, oh, well, what about this one? The thing I put my heart and soul into. Nah, not B. Nah, it's like literally the one we hate the most, actually. We hate what you really are, actually. Thanks, guys.
Go huff farts.
Go huff farts and kick rocks.
Are they frosted?
No, that would be great, actually. Frosted farts are like, oh, this smells like roses. But then there's the aftertaste of the huff. It's not great.
Once again, this was the most subtly funniest show. The whole thing with the translator on the phone. As they're talking at each other, it's still translating in the background. Like
arguing,
when he was hunched over trying to get it out, he's like, 6,000 kilometers for this crap, and it's translating everything he's saying.
Shut your trap.
I love how this show will have you gravitate towards certain characters and then all of a sudden just pull the carpet from underneath you. And like, because even in that moment, he's doing a sweet thing. He's trying to make it up to, because he realized he effed up. Kind of like Carol effed up with the killing a bunch of nodes in the hive. Well, which are potential people that they could save, unless the fly thing in the beginning of this episode means that they're already gone and the way back is not in their reach. But anyway, it was sweet what Manousos did. He's like, I tried to put my best foot forward and I totally stepped in it. And now I have to eat crap a little bit. Hilarious. And even the way he did it, I love how it took time to do that.
I just wanted her to get in my candy van. I mean, what's the big deal?
Oh my gosh. This poor little altar boy did not see himself from the outside, right? We don't see ourselves, our best work from the outside. What we think is our best work. The beeping of the horn. See, to American audiences, we don't understand that that's actually a sign of respect. Okay, I don't want to assault you at your door. Maybe we'll meet outside. Maybe you're like me. You want to meet in a neutral place outside, in between. See, you didn't think of that, did you? All you saw was a rude man honking a horn. Come outside, B, you big B. Carol, the thing I look up to the most. Carol Sturka.
I guess the hive isn't going to come repair the shotgun blast in his wall.
Good guess. Was that still in the frame when he was studying in one of the last scenes? Didn't remember.
I didn't look.
Because maybe Manousos prepared it himself. We don't know.
Maybe.
Since we're here, Manousos is looking up electromagnetism. Specifically, magnetic fields, data acquisition systems, fundamentals of crystallography. There are transistor crystals, etc., in electronic circuitry.
Since you're on that, I want to bring something up. Remember in, I think it was episode 4 or 5, after she tries to get the information out of Zosha
At the hospital?
when she leaves the hospital and she goes to get in the old beat up car and she turns it on and the radio is sounding like cassette tape. What if that was really the bleed through of that weird, did you notice how it sounded like it was
wibbly wobbly rather than
right? So maybe could it have been that was why that car sounded like that when they turned it on? It was that bleeding through the radio.
Well, there wouldn't be no reason for the radio.
Right. I'm pretty sure it was a cassette playing.
Yeah, it had to have been cassette.
I thought that too, but then I was like, why would they make it sound like that? Again, Chekhov's cassette tape, if it wasn't for something that was going to be later, like with the sound of the radio.
I'll go with you on saying that why was it sounding like that? Why didn't it sound normal? I mean, it could be, well, maybe it's interference from all this electromagnetism. That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because this was right after Zosha got hurt.
Oh, she was
Right?
experiencing the drug already, maybe?
I can't remember if that happened before or after the grenade blast. Either way, Zosha was hurt.
Yeah, she was in the hospital. She was... Well, I know that she got into the car, it smelled, and also the weirdness of the car, and then she chose the cop car after that, if I remember right.
I think that happened right after Zosha got blown up with the grenade, but she was still hurt. I just noticed that the sound was different, and maybe that was why.
Okay, let's go to that, actually. So there's a couple of factoids that I want to bring up here, because, listen, podcast brain, looking out for these little details makes such a difference, too. I'll get back to one thing that we didn't really touch on, but I hope we do. He writes down flujo eléctrico, which means electric flux. So I guess that we're talking about electric waves. Okay. He's reading a page out of a book that goes as follows. Vibe with me here, because this goes back to something I said in the last episode about the radio station that Carol resurrected for herself, because only she wants to listen to jazz. That's great. I love that for her and me even. I love jazz. We said it's a Chekhov's radio station. Standing waves. I'm going to read the page. When the antenna is fed or excited by a radio frequency generator, the transmitter, we find that at certain points along the antenna, separated by distances corresponding to half the wavelength of the output of the generator, the current, when measured, will always be about 0. We call these points current nodes. At points halfway between the nodes, we find that the current is always at some maximum value. We call these points current antinodes or loops. This is the thing that Manousos writes down. We also find that the point of a current node, there will be a voltage loop. And at the point of a current node, there will be a voltage node. Between the respective nodes and loops, the distribution current and the voltage along an antenna is blah, blah, blah. That is in the form of a sine curve. Okay, so what basically this amounts to is what Manousos is trying to do is to cancel out the wave pattern between humans. If I introduce a standing wave into a current wave, the line will go flat. That's what he's hoping to do. He's trying to cancel out the signal by transmitting basically an anti-signal so that hopefully they'll cancel themselves out and there'll be silence. But yeah, he looks up the word loop. If he can introduce this loop, he can get people out of the loop. Oh, I'm in the loop.
I started saying loop and I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. And then I remembered this is not Westworld. I was like, never mind. Never mind. Wrong kind of loop.
What door?
The book that Carol is reading at the pool is The Left Hand of Darkness. It is a
Speaking of
1969 science fiction novel about a human envoy who is sent to a planet called Gethin to persuade its people to join an intergalactic confederation.
Fitting.
She was taking notes.
The protagonist is called Genli I. It's AI is the last name. Thought that was kind of interesting too.
Genli makes me think of Gendry.
Right, I couldn't get that out of my head.
Wrong
too.
show.
The habitants of Gethin are ambisexual. This is another thing that's interesting too. They're ambisexual, changing gender during a monthly period of sexual receptivity called the Kemmer, which challenges I's understanding of gender, society, and culture, forcing him to bridge vast differences to build trust and complete his mission. The novel is celebrated for its deep exploration of gender, politics, loyalty, and cultural understanding. It's very interesting because even Carol, in her discovering that they treat people equally or love people equally, it's not even treat, it crashes her brain. She was under the impression that Zosha loves me. I thought you were my, no, no, I'm not. And I love how even the premise of this book, a lone human envoy, this Genli I is sent to the planet Gethin, whose people are androgynous for most of the month, becoming a male or female only during Kemmer, quote unquote. I struggles to understand and gain the trust of Gethenians.
It's like their own version of Ponfar.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that Star Trek reference. Thank you, Vulcan Ponfar. Every 7 years, Vulcans get all horny. Also violent.
Thank you, Futurama and Big Bang Theory.
Since we're talking about science, let's just bring up this another factoid here, and then we'll go into the real stuff. This is where we get really serious. We go deep. But first we go surface. You brought up the kiss. What was the purpose of the kiss in the last episode? And it's a twofold purpose, I think, in my head. One, obviously to charm her. You're giving her what she actually wants. She said she was effable. Remember? They had to get the subtitles for this video that she was sending to all the survivors anyway, so they know. Anything that she gives them is windfall. The kiss could have also been, remember what we said at the beginning of the last episode, which nobody heard because you wouldn't know it in the audience. It's not out yet. We said that Zosha looked a little pregnant. Maybe she thought the egg in her belly, because there were many eggs probably. She says eggs, plural. Maybe one of them is inside her. Maybe with Carol's egg in my belly, obviously inseminated by somebody, who knows who, because there has to be. Maybe I can kiss her with my little hormones and make her hive. You didn't think of that, did you?
What? So I'm pregnant with Carol's baby, and she's going to blow stem cell smoke in her mouth while she's
Yeah,
pregnant with
basically.
her baby.
Yeah. It's the opposite of farts. It's actually breath.
I'm not sure you know how anatomy works.
Yeah. We don't know what the truth is. I personally like to believe that Carol was able to somehow tap into real Zosha.
Without any evidence to the contrary?
Well, we talked about it in the last episode. The
Sure.
story that she recalls and the look of nostalgia on her face. There's a moment of pause. I like to believe that maybe there was a moment of real Zosha there.
All I will say to that is, well, Sharon had said that, oh, maybe it's what she wanted her to hear. Fine. Which I was like, yeah, well, maybe that. But even I was just being charmed by you and your story that you were weaving. That's all I can say about that. I liked it. I wanted to believe.
We know there's a way to reverse this. It's been all but confirmed. So now the question is, how? Is it through memory recall? We don't know. So shut
Well,
up.
obviously didn't work. Manousos in this episode was trying to bring Rick back. You heard the wibbly wobbly radio as they were
Sure.
disrupted and seizing and all that stuff. And then eventually went back to let me walk you through all of that, because there's one thing that he said that you wouldn't have noticed what it was unless you speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but I looked it up softly because Manousos is very yelly. If you don't pay attention, this is actually kind of sweet. Rick, I know you are there. I help you. I am here. Listen, Rick, I am here. I'm saying it faster because I don't want to say it like the show. Gilligan is like masturbatory when it comes to dialogue sometimes. You come back. Yes, you can do it. Listen, Rick. You remember. You are there. You are there. But you come back. Rick, I know you're there. Right, I'm just keep going. But you can remember. Then he says, me importa. He says something completely different to what he was saying before. And it would surprise you to understand that me importa means I care. It's a very revealing thing. And I'll tell you why. Throughout this episode, when Carol and he are going back and forth, notice when they switch what language they use. When they're hiding their feelings or when they're trying to put on a show or performance, AKA in a form of lying, let's say, or a form of deception or manipulation or whatever, anything other than the raw, vulnerable truth, they speak in the other person's language. But when it comes to that moment, when he's talking to Rick, he's putting on a performance when he's saying the Rick, he's trying to get him back because he wants to do it for humanity. When he says, me importa, he actually cares about Rick in that one moment. But then he has to bring it back because like the real Rick doesn't understand Spanish, maybe, probably. He doesn't know other way. I care. Just something to note. You'll rewatch this episode, note the times Carol and Manousos are talking in their native language versus the other person's language, which is in a sense kind like the episode of Fallout. It's the golden rule. Make them feel welcome by speaking in their language. But really it's to put on a show.
Meanwhile, they're speaking to each other through an AI, which is basically the hive mind.
Yeah.
Megan says, I didn't understand why he was speaking in English during that part, a language he just learned to someone who probably didn't speak any English before the joining.
Meaning Rick?
Yeah, Rick.
Rick didn't
we don't
speak
know either way.
English?
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Although, I'm assuming he's one of the Albuquerque people. And if you're in Albuquerque, you might know Spanish.
Hive Zosha said Manousos was very specific with his questions. He was very pointed. He asked the right questions that they couldn't lie about. So he probably asked Rick, what is your native language? Oh, yeah. This form, formerly represented by Rick, used to speak fluent English and nothing else because I am trash. I'm just saying, everybody from Albuquerque's trash.
Just called Jimmy McGill trash.
Did I stutter? Also, he's from Chicago, Illinois. All right. Navy Pier. Conning people out of things. Come on.
From Cicero. Get it right.
Yeah, Cicero. Fine, whatever. He probably asked him those pointed questions so he can bring him out. I wanted to bring that up just because of the translation part of it. Is that, again, when you're speaking your feelings, when you're actually being vulnerable, when you're speaking your native tongue.
No, I get it. They were driving the point that Manousos in that moment was being genuine. And
Exactly.
yes, nailed it. Good
Like
job,
maybe he
Vince.
needs to feel it. Right? And it's really for the audience, not really for Rick particularly. The audience needs to know that Manousos cares. He actually does care.
Yeah, and Manousos is kind of doing the same thing Carol did with Zosha without even knowing it, recalling on the person that's in there.
If your theory is correct.
I like my theory. It's sweet. It's
It
heartfelt,
is sweet.
but it's
I fell in love with it.
also stupid.
Oh, no, I didn't say it was stupid.
No, I know, but it is. It's dumb. This is not the Hallmark Channel. Manousos' theory makes way
How
more
dare
sense.
you.
They're actually operating on a radio frequency. Zosha says it herself when they're standing there watching the train. She compares it to the radio frequencies. I'm hoping we see him create a loop that he can sort of
Circuit.
broadcast out to disrupt what's happening with them, cancel it out. That's a solid theory.
Or it's like Daenerys, you have to break the wheel. You have to break the circuit, which sounds violent.
What I would be scared of is if it does work, what does that mean?
Right. Yeah.
So even if Carol does break them out, she's still going to lose Zosha because Zosha is not
Absolutely.
the person that she is with Carol.
Yep.
I did think about this in the last episode, actually, too. I refer you to my earlier comments from this episode. Again, what makes her any different from Lakshmi, from even Kumba? Because what was Kumba's whole thing? Intentions do matter, obviously, because Carol's in it because she fell for Hive Zosha. But she does love Carol. There's that. We found that out eventually, that they love Kumba, Manousos, Carol equally. It's not what we thought. See, and they're happy to have sex with Kumba all the time, every time, because they do love him. So it makes me feel a little bit better about that, actually. Fine. But then what makes Kumba and Carol any different? It's really all about you. There's no sacrifice on your end. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be yourself, except for don't be mean.
I keep going back to that scene, though. We talked about it a little bit earlier when Kumba wants Zosha to come with him, and ultimately Carol's like, do whatever. But we see that moment. Zosha has a moment right before she boards that plane where she looks back at Carol.
But did we see what we wanted to see?
No, she stopped and turned and looked. It happened. We saw it.
Again, it's not that she doesn't love Carol. Hive, Zosha, is worried that they might have hurt her. Again, as much as you say they don't read the room, Sharon D, they do. They're super concerned about hurting somebody else's feelings. They may not make the right move all the
Being
time.
concerned and reading the room is not the same thing.
Fair? Right? Knowing exactly what to do based on context clues and whatnot, that's reading the room. But also, still doesn't mean that they don't feel any less concerned when they feel like, okay, did I do the right? Is this right? Or they know that no matter what, Carol's gonna feel a certain way about this.
I feel like had Zosha been getting on the plane with Carol instead of Kumba, she could have turned around and looked at Kumba's plane exactly the same way.
Oh, yes.
Because it's still somebody who, yes, she cares, but
yes,
not any more than anybody else.
My argument would be she might have, but I don't think she would have. We won't know.
You're saying knowing what we know about Kumba, she wouldn't have had to look backwards. She knows Kumba would move on.
Maybe. I don't know. She might have. We're not going to know because it didn't happen that way. Personally, my opinion, I don't think she would have looked at Kumba's plane like, oh.
I was going to bring up what Hive Zosha said to Carol about her pluripotent stem cells. This is what they're trying to extract from the eggs. I went into the dumb thing about the kiss and I have a baby in me. It's your baby. Whatever. That was a dumb thing I wanted to say just out loud that I didn't say before because, again, for those of you who didn't see the last episode, we had seen 2 episodes prior at the end of that episode that she appeared to be pregnant. And even when they were hiking and they saw the train in the distance, her clothes were ill-fitting, and you'll have already seen that we showed a picture of her with a little belly.
They didn't focus so much on that this episode.
It's very stealth.
I wonder if it was something that we noticed and maybe the actress is pregnant and it has nothing to do with the show.
That's what I said. I wanted to see what you thought, but I think that it's that they're stealth and it's going to come up later. See, Jason said it way meaner than I would have. I guess she looked frumpy in those clothes.
I saw what I thought was more
pregnant
than just
belly.
ill-fitting clothing.
I showed 2 instances of one clearly from the second to last episode at the end. Even see her outie belly button through the light sweater she was wearing. And then in the hiking clothes, you can see that she's carrying herself and the belly's clearly out there. Even if it's a wide angle lens, it still showed.
The ledge is where I noticed it most.
Yeah, it was quick too. I'm glad you noticed it. So she says pluripotent stem cells. This is what they're trying to extract from her eggs. And I think generally speaking, most people know that when it comes to IV treatments and implanting eggs with in vitro fertilization, it's rough because it's so expensive. The success rate's still pretty low, but higher than having a natural pregnancy and a viable fetus. Allowing the fetus to grow in vitro, etc., has a higher success rate. Then you implant it, etc., all that stuff. So when she says we're trying to get your stem cells from these things, those statistics go along with that discovery. They're trying to get it, but they don't know how many eggs will survive the process. I'm sure they're trying to extract the stem cells, etc. They're hoping within 2 to 3 months to be able to do it. So let me say what it is. Pluripotent stem cells are master cells that can self-renew and develop into any cell type in the body, which is why they're using them. They're like, okay, well, we can make this
stem cell smoke.
forming all 3 germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. Crucial for development. Disease study in regenerative medicine with major types including embryonic stem cells, ESCs, and induced pluripotent stem cells, iPSCs, pre-programmed from adult cells, offering the promise for treating diabetes, Parkinson's, heart disease, spinal injuries, and more by modeling diseases and creating patient-matched tissues, right? So specifically targeted for that person tissues. What they are: pluri, right? Pluripotent, pluribus. Oh, I love it. Pluri, meaning many. Potent, meaning potential. So not potent as in strong, but potent as in potential. Means that they have potential to become almost any cell. Nerve, heart, liver, skin, etc. Self-renewal, they can divide and make more stem cells indefinitely. Cool. Remember, the number 8 appears in several things, but 8 sideways, indefinite, right? Sharondy's thing comes back. Types of pluripotent stem cells. Embryonic stem cells, ESCs, derived from early embryos, highly controversial due to ethical concerns about embryo destruction. See, this is the problem with extracting these. They want to be very, very delicate because you have a finite amount of eggs to work with. Induced pluripotent stem cells, adult cells like skin cells, reprogrammed back into a stem cell-like state, bypassing the need for embryos and offering patient-specific cells. Not for me. They're doing embryonic. Why they're important. Disease modeling. Scientists use iPSCs from patients with diseases like ALS, diabetes to create models in a dish to understand disease progression and test drugs. Regenerative medicine. Potential to replace damaged cells in conditions like spinal cord injury, blindness, macular degeneration, diabetes, pancreatic cells, and heart disease. Personalized medicine. Patient-matched iPSCs could create transplants without immune rejection. Very big, by the way. When you're trying to plant tissue from other people, rejection is the worst thing because you're going to have to take drugs for the rest of your life so that your heart replacement doesn't reject. When you're using your own cells, that's not a danger anymore. Key applications: drug discovery, testing new drugs on disease-specific PSC-derived cells; cell therapy, developing treatments to replace lost cells with trials ongoing for retinal diseases and more. Limitations and considerations. This is really the main thing I wanted to bring up. While powerful, PSC research, especially with ESCs, face ethical hurdles, and iPSCs still require extensive research for safe, effective therapies, though significant progress is being made by the hive mind, basically. So listen, you have the world's doctors at your fingertips or in your hive. And so not a problem. Now we have a timeline. Now we're under the gun and they're going to do this. They're going to take away everything from you, everything that made you you. They're going to make you sacrifice for their love, basically. So what do? Well, let's go back home. And even in the helicopter, they look back at one another sad. It's like they broke up. Hive, Zosha, and she.
Right. But Carol's doing it because she really feels it. Zosha's doing it because she wants to make Carol happy. Yes, I'm sad too, Carol.
But she still feels upset that she doesn't want this. Zosha's conscious of the fact that she feels this way in the moment, but it's like a shot. She has to get it. It'll make you happier once you have it. Like Helen, you drew upon that example. This would be the Helen maneuver, not the charm offensive, ultimately. And look at her dress. She's wearing all black, like I said before, dark teal blouse underneath. It's not like her usual yellow and blues, primary colors. Carol's going full dark. She brought the nuke with her.
When Manousos called them weirdos, I was like, is this going to be like The Walking Dead where everybody has a different name? We have the others, the join,
Los otros.
the weirdos, fighters, bombers.
Others, they, them, Delulu. To quote Rachel.
I feel like I know the answer. It's pretty obvious, but I just wanted to explore any other possibilities. Carol says there's an A-bomb in the storage container, but do you think she's being hyperbolic?
Facetious?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I think it's a good callback, first of all.
Very much so. But then I thought, is it just to spite them? Or is it a metaphoric A-bomb? I don't know. That's what I wanted to talk about. What else could it be?
I think it's a declaration of war.
A giant radio antenna?
No.
I mean, if she sets off the bomb, the only people she's hurting are her and Manousos, because everybody's cleared out of the city.
Exactly.
So there's no point in having it.
No, there's a great point to having it. Are you kidding me?
Deterrence.
Do you know what she is by profession?
A writer.
A writer.
What do writers have?
Drama.
Pens. Paper.
Never mind. That was the best answer. When it comes to writing books, what is always hanging over their head?
A deadline?
Depression.
Yeah, a deadline.
Oh.
Damn it. A deadline. What is the A-bomb?
A bomb?
A last resort.
It's a motivator. Actually, it's a motivator, but it's their literal deadline. Literally, if they can't get this done in 3 months, like a pirate, death before dishonor. See, he said this earlier. I would rather die than become one of them. He sort of says this. I would rather not be one of those soulless ones, basically. And so Carol is in her declaration of taking the A-bomb, which they said, we wouldn't like it, but here you go.
But sure, we would give it to you.
Do you
Death before dishonor.
want an A-bomb?
That actor was
Many
phenomenal.
episodes later, and we still love that actor. Listen, clearly Manousos is struggling with his studies. Time in this episode is very cool because you find out, you start off the episode, you're 12 days ahead. You go back 12 days prior. It's 14 days in from the time Kusimayo was converted. She was away from Manousos for 2 weeks, not quite 40 days, but just enough time for Carol to have another change of heart. At first, it was more, we're going to isolate you so, Carol, you can be brainwashed into needing us again. But it took only 12 days with them, with Hive Zosha, to realize, yeah, with enough time with them, I had a change of heart too. Isn't that interesting how that episode parallels the other? That now she's converted to Manousos' way. She had a change of heart from where she first stood, shooting him with a shotgun or shooting over his head, warning shot.
Sure. I mean, I feel like it was a matter of time before the Hive revealed, we're doing this. She asked the right questions.
Boom. She faced the inner monologue in her head, finally.
She could have gone 3 years without asking that question. It was about the answers she got.
Not likely. She would have been converted by then.
Not the amount of time. I'm just exaggerating.
I know.
Well, and again, if Zosha hadn't said, it'll be so much better, she
Yeah.
brought it up. Because Carol was like, I'm perfectly willing to stay in a, in like delusion.
Kinda.
But then Zosha was like, it's going to be so much greater.
I don't know about you guys. It's clear to me, but I guess everybody's going to have their own point of view, that Carol's suffering from depression. She's feeling all these happy things, but is just waiting for it to all be ripped away.
She had a little
That's
bit
a
of a
good point of
reprieve
view,
from
though.
that when she was told that they couldn't take her stem cells from her body. And then she was like, oh, this is not going to be taken from me. I can do whatever I want and enjoy it. And I don't have to be under a deadline of them changing me. But she'd forgotten about the eggs.
When she was expressing this feeling,
This is before she found out about that.
exactly. That's my
Right,
point.
Rachel?
Right. That's my point. She was feeling these things before she found out about the stem
Mhm.
cell. I should be so happy right now. All the chemicals are running through my blood, but, right? But.
You're attributing it to depression, which I
Yeah.
love. I'm attaching myself to more grounded reasons like, this isn't really what I want. I want Helen.
I mean, wasn't she kind of like that before? Because she had
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
fans who loved her and
Absolutely.
all this, and she
Yes.
still wasn't happy with anything.
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
So
Yeah.
maybe she would be happier in the hive mind.
Or maybe she's feeling she's exactly like Kumba also, like in that moment.
It's not
Sure.
like she can really do anything to stop them if they aerosolize it and drop it on her. The atom bomb isn't going to save her then. I was kind of wondering about the A-bomb too, because we saw with the stem cell smoke, they could aerosolize it like they did with the planes and just drop it over her house. And it would
Yeah, I
affect
think that's why
her.
she does it.
But she would be in the hive mind before she could do anything about it.
They could have done that with the little girl too, but they didn't. It was still her choice.
Because she wanted to. Carol doesn't want to. So they're not going to say,
Right.
hey, Carol, do you want to sniff this? She's not going to do that. So like, they're
Right.
going to have
Wait,
to
you
drop
just
it
said
on
that.
her.
Sniff this. Smell
Just
my
do
fingers.
it, like Manousos. Do it. They snap their fingers, then go.
Oh my gosh. Which
Sniff
is
this.
why I don't think, sure, the initial thing, but now we're at where we're at. And I don't think that they would force it on her. They know that this is not what she wanted. They could argue and be like, well, they didn't say no, but she is very much actively saying no now.
Still, she answers what she answers. She says, like Helen, you don't understand that I'm doing this because I love you. But also, it's their biological imperative. Don't get it twisted.
Mhm.
There's the front-facing excuse of we're doing this because we love you, but also there's the back-end excuse. This is just our biological
She's not going to be
imperative.
able to accept any more food from them because what if they put it in the food? She's not going to be able to rely on them for anything anymore.
Great, leading into
She's
the
going to be
second season.
completely on her own.
You're bringing up a very interesting point that they have to rely on each other from now on, Manousos and she. This is the one thing we're like, oh, they have to homestead now. Okay, second thing is, like you said, Rachel, it could happen at any time, this stem cell smoke. They could drop it from the plane, blah, 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 whatever. The threat of nuclear fallout, though, they'll have to develop a sort of mechanism so that if they get anywhere close, if any radio signals come into contact or drone any electromagnetism of any kind comes close, they set off the A-bomb, right? It's a little fail-safe mechanism to prevent them from being harmed or exposed to the stem cell smoke in any way. Because the delivery method has to be, they have to hand it to her, they have to aerosolize it, whatever, so that they have to threaten them to make it so that they don't even think about dropping the stem cell smoke. Not even from a drone. You have to think about what the purpose of this A-bomb is beyond just a deadline. It could be a fail-safe mechanism so that they don't come anywhere near her. Instead of being isolated by them, she is self-isolating, so they don't come anywhere near her and Manousos.
If losing 1 million people is nothing to them, that's just 1 million fingernails that fell off, what does it matter if they set off one bomb?
Well, see, now you're arguing what I thought was my point, but I think they care about the node. Obviously, like you said, you guys both said it in prior episodes, if they're injured, they go to the hospital because they care about themselves.
Well, do they care, or losing people is bad? But they're willing to lose 10 million people to starvation.
See, and you know how they care about themselves because they're not willing to tell Carol how to reverse this. They do have some sort of protection mechanism.
Biological imperative is not caring. Those are
But that's
two
also
separate
putting
things.
yourself in harm's way for this goal. They're not willing to do that. It's interesting, though.
Well, they will put themselves in harm's way because Zosha jumped on Carol to save her from a grenade.
To save Carol. But not when the danger is coming from Carol. Well, see, in her mind, Carol thought it was a fake grenade. She was testing it. She was feeling out what they're willing to do for her. She took the grenade. She threw it out the window. It's not like this is real. And they're like, you're an idiot. Let me save you. But she knows consciously that this is a real nuke. She has no reason to think otherwise. Oh, I'm staying away from this bitch.
But they said,
it's crazy.
So they couldn't kill a wasp to keep it from stinging. So say that one of their people is allergic to bees or whatever. And in order to save the person from being stung by a bee, they have to kill the bee. They won't even do that.
Right.
So
Okay.
they care, but is it caring, or is it just we have to try to keep this person alive?
If it interferes with life, they can only save it after the stinger has already been removed or whatever. Then they can, they can start treating the thing. Yeah, but they're not going to actively go in a hot zone. They don't interfere. Well, and they can't also convert a wasp. They can convert humans. They'll give it a good college try. But beyond that, they're not going to put themselves in harm's way to do the converting.
If the A-bomb is just a failsafe to kill Carol and Manousos in the event that things go awry, their deadline comes and goes, there's way less dramatic ways to kill yourself than a freaking A-bomb.
I refer you to the fact that she's a writer. She also is kind of dramatic.
Super dramatic.
Even if she takes out 1 million of them with an A-bomb.
But she won't, though. They're all
Well,
gone.
it's not
They're
about
all
them.
gone.
It's about her. I wouldn't say that she wants to take them out. She
and
wants to take herself
there's
out.
no one else there
Well,
to take out.
in that case, you could take some pills.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's way less dramatic ways to do this.
I feel like it's a failsafe because she's like, I will blow all of you up, but she's not blowing up the head of it. They lost 11 million people and it was no big deal. So blowing up one city with an A-bomb isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, and they're not even there. So
That's why I mentioned the dual use. It's sure, it's deadline, death before dishonor, but it's also don't come anywhere near this place. Whatever the radius of this A-bomb is, I don't want your farts near me. Your stem cell smoke stays far the F away from me or this goes off. Why else to be so dramatic? You said it yourself when it came to the drone, there has to be somebody close by to do all the things.
I don't know what the range is on a drone.
I don't see the point of killing yourself to keep yourself from turning into the hive. Once you're in the hive mind, you don't care. People are like, don't let me be a walker after I die. Well, you're dead. You don't know. You don't even care. So other than you might eat somebody I know, which is unlikely. Okay, let's take Eric, for example. When Eric wandered off, Aaron didn't go after him to kill him.
Huh?
Just like, whatever, he's out there.
It's Eric on the wall.
So if you're a hive mind person, you don't care if you're hive mind. But if you're dead, then you don't care about anything at all.
That's true. However, in their mind, they're saying, I don't want to contribute to this problem. Even if it means nothing in the grand scheme of things, there's a moral argument to say, well, I don't want to contribute to what this is. Whatever this is, I don't want to be a part of it, even if I don't know that I am a part of it. Right now, they have the wherewithal to care. So they have to make decisions based on the here and now. If you're taken without your wherewithal, of course you don't care. You have no wherewithal to care. Right? This is an active moral decision. Going back to what you said earlier about, you'd said this, and I don't think you registered that you said this. I think it was Sharon D. Because Zosha could have easily not said, well, there's the joining. You could be happier. Why did she do that? Knowing Carol's nature.
Okay, so I was thinking about this. You know how you're really into The Walking Dead and you talk about it all
I
the
guess.
time. And your family is so tired of hearing you talk about it. So when you're with
Mm.
your family, you don't talk about it.
Right, it's like Zosha's secret podcast, basically, right?
But then you let something slip out like, but if you would just watch it, you would love it so much. And then they're like, oh, God, here we go again.
There we go again. Oh, I thought I convinced you all the way.
Again, Zosha doesn't know how to read the room. So she says this to Carol. Carol's like, oh, my God, here we go again. Stop talking about The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I kind of had maybe an opposite thought. I was thinking maybe Zosha felt like she had worn Carol down enough to open that door.
Right. Go further. What does that also tell you? On the other side of that same coin, that they actually really do love her. When you love somebody, you kind of forget about certain things. You're like, oh, I'm so woozy with love.
Yeah, but they love everybody, so it doesn't matter.
The love of the hive mind is like, if you believe in God, it's like God's love. He loves all of his children equally. That's the kind of love you
An
get from the
impossible
hive
thing.
mind.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't comprehend it, right?
Right.
And yet it exists, and yet it's so powerful because they're not God. Obviously, they would know this
Obviously
would work.
not, but I'm just
Right.
saying
But that was my first thought when it came to the hive, by the way, and I never brought that up.
that's the kind of unconditional love you're getting from the hive mind.
Right.
Isn't
right.
it evil to love someone the same as an ant?
A human?
Yeah, David.
Is it the devil? Is it God? We'll never know.
See, this is why you can't say things like that.
Just
That's
can't say
evil.
things
It's
like
not
that.
evil. It's not
I know
evil.
Charity doesn't mean it. That's why I
Not
laughed.
evil.
Charity.
I made it fairly clear earlier
You
that
made it
I would
fairly
choose
funny.
animals over several millions of people on the planet. I would choose animals.
I would also choose animals over a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Human supremacist all the way. Because you know what? I'm like Manusa. Me importa. I do care.
Yeah, I
Two
care
things
too.
can be true. I care about
care
you even
too.
if you're mean. I know that you're in. Sometimes you can be a complete and total. Not you guys, but
Yeah.
you out there. You're a
The
bunch of
royal
dicks.
you.
The royal, yes, for brevity's sake, the royal you. But you guys, I love you. That's fine. I love you, hosts. That's cool.
Yeah,
And also
because you
in the
know
audience.
us.
Right.
Actually, I think I love all of you equally. Oh no, I'm evil.
Evil, David.
kidding.
Evil.
No, I'm a
We
big
already
believer.
knew it. We already knew it, Dave.
I'm a big believer in you love your concentric circles in proportion to what they mean to you.
Yeah.
I'm not suicidally empathetic. Are you kidding me? I mean, I say that, but then I'll do something dumb, like give people grace.
So to bring it back, the hive mind does love Carol, but in a very
Not surface
in
level
an
way,
unconditional way. But it's
but in a genuine way. That's the thing.
It is genuine.
They effed up so royally. It means it's genuine.
Right. It's not the kind of love that Carol thinks it is. Carol is, again, living in this delusion in her mind and telling herself that Zosha feels a certain way about her. And it's not that.
It's not that biblical possessive love.
It would be like if you told Evelyn that you loved her as much as the same way that you loved Rachel and I. That is not the same thing.
Why would you do
It's
this
not.
to me?
It's not
it
the
would
same
be
love.
completely
You
unacceptable.
totally
yeah.
Manousos vanned me.
Right.
Did you realize what you did? Get in my van, Dave, with this example. I'm like, no, I will not get in your van, Sharon.
But I mean,
Hard
that's
pivot.
what I'm saying. So it's
And I
yes,
mean, like,
they,
hard as in
they
metaphorically.
love Carol,
Yes.
but it is not the same love that Carol feels for Zosha. It would be
Exactly.
insulting. I imagine I would
Yeah.
be insulted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just
But I
weird,
do
too.
think that the time that they are spending together, Zosha saw something and I think she felt comfortable to,
Exploit it.
yes, to open that door a little bit and test the waters. Oh, you're happy now, but it could be better.
Talk about waiting for the other shoe to drop and have it all ripped away. Carol's
Yeah.
finally comfortable. She's enjoying herself. And then Zosha
Yeah.
drops this, oh, yeah, you're still going to get joined, lady. And they're
They
all
took
that
a
Carol has
risk.
been waiting on. And it just zoop, just zipped right away.
They took a risk and it did not pay off for them.
Well, let me take a page from your book.
No.
It doesn't make them evil, though.
No,
Because
no.
going back to the book that
No.
Carol reads at the poolside, The Left Hand of Darkness, it's just culture class from their point of view. Right. This is a life preserver. Remember, I used this analogy way in the beginning. It's a life preserver. She's drowning
Yep.
and Zosha, the hive, is saving her. From her perspective, you're taking away what makes me individually, as I understand the truth to be.
Correct.
Their truth is completely different. Like, no, you don't understand. Everybody on this side of the pool, this side of the partition is like, yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll understand my love once you're a part of it.
I'd be wholeheartedly for it if you gave me an option to get back out if I didn't want
but
your
you
love
just
anymore.
don't understand our love, Charity.
Yeah.
Wait,
That
now
sounds
I'm
like an
doing it.
abusive relationship to me.
You know, it did occur to me. And there, the theme does repeat with Manousos and the way he treats Carol, where the way Carol ends up treating Manousos by shooting over his head to make a point, obviously. But still, it does go back to how real relationships, tangible relationships, are unequal. Power in relationship dynamics can trade hands. There could be a dom sub thing. I know that's a sexual thing, but still, it exists. But even in a very more heady, fluid, harmonial thing, harmony is just harmony.
This series is awesome, and I'm really sad that we're going to have to wait like a year and a half to get the next season. But Vince Gilligan has said, I'm not going to rush the writing. You want good writing, this is what it takes. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm here for it, Vince.
He's not disappointed me yet. So he's worth the wait.
And Ray Seahorn, once again, all the awards because she is amazing.
Oh, her face this episode, just perfection.
And the camera work too.
Oh, the transitions. I wanted to specifically talk about the transitions.
The long dissolves too.
Ah, so
yeah,
good.
The overhead
So
shot when they're
good.
walking on the beach.
Into
Yes.
the board on the bathtub.
The Western style, seeing Manousos and Carol on both ends of the screen as they're trying to figure out where to go inside the house, in the van.
So good.
Their meeting, well, I didn't expect it to go super
The
great,
whooshing
but
of the
that was
wind.
really even better than I expected because it was hilarious.
See what Megan says. I have to hop off, you guys. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for allowing me to participate. Of course, anytime.
Yeah,
It's
thank
free
you
all
so
the time.
much for being here.
Thank you, Megan. I'll see you on
Megan.
Tuesday.
Megan. Stop.
Not Negan.
I'll see you on Tuesday to talk you into watching some more shows.
At least she's not vegan. She's Megan.
Vegan.
Anyway,
Megan?
Vegan.
Okay.
or vegan. Ooh, I'm just kidding.
Let's take an Ussie.
let's take a wheezy.
That opening scene, how the entire village, and I know we all noticed it, was operating just for this little girl.
Right.
Yep.
Well, she wasn't that little, but yes.
This young girl,
Young woman,
she's
yeah.
a child. How old do you think she is?
Maybe her 20s.
Late teens, early 20s.
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that old.
But you're right.
15,
Getting back
16
on track.
at the most. Anyway, the point here, the entire village was operating just for her. It was this illusion that they created just for her.
Mhm.
Like, what are they doing for Lakshmi and the other people? whose
That's
names
what
I
I'm
can't
trying
remember?
to say. As soon as they figure she
As soon as she joined, we see them all pack up and leave.
In
Where do you think
silence.
they're going?
to a big arena to sleep on the floor.
Mhm.
Remember?
Yeah.
They're going to the apple fields so they can pick the apples up off the
Up
ground
off the ground.
Yeah, exactly. They're wasting
and
all
then
their time.
sleep in a big dark arena.
Conservationists too. They
But she
turn
could have
off
taken the goat.
electricity.
The goat could have followed her the whole time.
I know. That's why I love that scene, because it's like, wait, you're lying about that. You would have picked the thing up and let you. Anyway, whatever.
The two ladies that were her family, maybe a mom and an auntie, maybe a mom and a sister. I don't know what the exact relation was, but I loved those two actresses too.
Oh, I love her website. Wow, she has a website. It's very pretty.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Megan.
Megan.
All right, I had to come back to say I care about you all more. Oh, see, Negan, not Wigan, not Negan,
Oh my gosh.
is like me. She's a human supremacist. Yes. Score one for the human supremacists.
I hate it when you say that.
I know, because it sounds really, really bad, but
It
it's really
sounds
actually quite good.
terrible.
I'm not evil, is what I'm
It
saying.
sounds terrible.
Okay. It is Darinka Arones, and she does speak Quechua, the larger of the few indigenous tribes in Peru. I don't know if it was filmed there, but the village is supposed to have taken place. The setting is in the Andes Mountains. So there's like a little valley
Didn't
nestled between
Manousos
the
drive
Andes.
through Peru? He
Yes,
was
he
in
did.
Peru. He could have stopped and picked her up on the way and saved her too.
It's on the other side,
Slacker.
though, of Peru. It's like on
Slacker.
the right side of the easternmost side of Peru.
He cares so much. Why didn't he stop and save her?
He didn't know about her,
He
remember?
doesn't know about,
He
yeah.
doesn't know anything. He's like
He
the
knows
last
they
man on
exist,
earth.
but he doesn't know who they are.
It's all about Carol Sturka.
Well, if he'd have asked somebody, he would have.
A little factoid about... No, forget about the Andes. It's just the Andes. Whatever. Who cares? It's beautiful. I've been there before, actually, in the Chile trip. You know, maybe I'll throw up in the video.
Don't throw up.
I'll
Please
throw
don't
up in
throw
the
up.
I will.
Please don't throw up.
Don't push me. I'll do it anyway. Well, I care about people more than
This
ants.
is David's
I'm gonna
A-bomb.
throw up.
I'm going to throw up a little hyperlapse that I did of going up the Andes Mountains. There's lots of switchbacks on the side of this mountain as you're going up the Chile side. Super cool. Pretend like you just watched it.
Snapping your fingers is about the equivalent of when I was a waitress shaking your glass at me. You just guaranteed that you are not getting any more liquid at all.
It's like,
Shake-
calm down.
Excuse
Rachel,
me.
calm
Excuse
down.
me. Excuse you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
It's
that's
calm
the
down for
equivalent.
Rachel.
Ugh.
That's all I've got. We definitely stepped into some things that I didn't think we would go and talked about things that I'd thought of in episodes prior that I never got to bring up, which is so cool.
Not only did we cover this episode, we covered the whole season.
We got the whole season all at once.
We also covered some Walking Dead and
Yeah.
some
In addition to-
Westworld.
Yep,
Fallout,
a little bit
I
of Fallout
referenced.
too.
Fallout.
David, get rid
Welcome
of
to
Fallout.
Derry.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after these messages. We just thought we'd remind you to show this episode some love by tapping that like button, if there's one to be tapped, subscribing to our podcast or channel, and if available, enabling all notifications, and sharing the show, or clips of it, with everyone you know. And don't be afraid to reach out. Leave your questions, feedback, ideas, or even concerns in the comments section. There isn't one? Head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and leave your thoughts there. Rating our podcast is the best way to get our attention because it also boosts our visibility. And we'll probably address it in the next episode too. And if you think there's something to what we're doing here at Squawking Dead, tip us over on Ko-fi. As a token of our appreciation, you'll receive forever access to our Discord, along with 30 days access to our uncut episode and interview recordings, plus our pre-squawk insights. Take your support further. Join a membership tier on either ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead, and you'll unlock access to more channels on our Discord server, receive shoutouts at the end of every episode, and depending on what tier you join, the ability to join us on camera and mic to break down future episodes alongside us. Thank you for hearing us out and making it this far into the episode. We now return you to our regularly scheduled podcast.
Again, huge shout out to Darinka Arones because of the way she came out of her individual state. She went into her joined state.
Mhm.
She, like everybody else, just smile up. And what I love about it is it was convincing because it's a hard sell when you're seeing this person as a human, be a human, being nervous, right? The little contrast of her being super nervous and then all of a sudden being super calm, smiley. And I love what they did to complete the effect. She immediately got up and turned around. And you'll notice that as everybody packs up, all you see are the backs of heads
Mhm.
in that shot to accentuate the fact that, oh, they're not there. They've never been
That's
there,
it.
actually.
They're done. Yeah.
So they don't have to talk to each other, sing songs, nothing.
They've sped up the process too. We see her convulse slightly, right? And then they lay her gently down and then she wakes up. When this happened initially, it was a long time before people started waking back up.
Long enough for
Oh, yeah,
Carol
yeah.
to get up and walking through the bar and
Right.
try
to
to
the
take
hospital.
the phone.
Get to the hospital. Yeah.
Right. Because this was attenuated to specifically this young woman, which is interesting. Well, you have to also consider this fact, which we did bring up in prior episodes. They didn't want to waste time. And so they hurriedly chemtrailed the F out of the atmosphere, basically. So whatever they did it, and they didn't consider what the ramifications would be. They're like, hell or high water, we got to do it now because otherwise we'll be put to a stop. So here they took the time to do it just right, so there'd be minimal side effects, and what even the seizures themselves weren't that violent. Do you remember how violent they were? The crib was super vibrating. That baby that was in that crib might not be in there anymore if SIDS is a thing. But then also the way people were violently shaking and dropping things, fell over. One of them fell over. Well, because Carol bumped into them. But still, the fact that Helen was shaking so violently that she fell backwards,
Mm-hmm.
which also is an interesting mirror to Kusimaya because she did the same, but somebody gently guided her down. But still,
Right.
it wasn't as violent, basically, is all I'm saying. Anyway, all right. Well, let's just say this much. Thank you all for being here. I really, really enjoyed talking about this episode, and I cannot wait for it to return again. I'm sure you feel the same way too. The last thing I read before I jumped on here was an article that mentioned, like you said, Sharon D, that he's taking his time with this series, and it may be quite a while before we get
Possibly even 2028.
We'll
which
forget
is
about this show
outrageous.
by the time it comes back, and then we'll be so excited.
I'm not sure. I have a feeling this is going to have the same kind of theory response as From, where people are going to figure out the entire second season, like we have just now, by the way. Just very impressed with what we were able to do with what little we had. So with that, I say I am looking forward to it. And, well, I'm puffing my chest right here. Whatever. Very
I was
impressed
laughing
with
at
us.
Fiona.
Oh, well.
Sorry.
Hi,
You're a cat
Fiona.
supremacist, are you?
She tried to jump up on the couch and she missed.
Your name says the poor goat, but goat is right over Fiona.
Because she is the goat.
Here to go.
He's your goat. Hi, Fiona.
And with that, I say I was formerly with hand motions David Cameo, and I was joined by other me's.
This individual was formerly known as Cosmomom09.
This individual was known as Blazy Gardner. I was showing off my nails.
I was very impressed also with the hand motions. And join us for our continuing coverage of Fallout as we talk about the third episode of season 2. And we also have a Night of the Seven Kingdoms in January 16th, if I'm not mistaken, as well as Darkwind Season 4 comes out in mid-February, February 15th, if I'm not mistaken. It's a day before my birthday. So he said he's streaming. This is really hard to break now, but I'm very glad when this one's over. So bye, everybody. We'll see you. Rachel's ears.
Bye,
Why are you doing that?
Jason.
Rachel,
Bye.
Charity. Bye, everybody. Thank you for making it to the end of yet another episode of Squawking Dead. This one, Pluribus's season 1 finale titled La Chica o El Mundo, and we're just cranking them out left and right as a result of that brutal week of 4 recordings in a week. We finally got to Pluribus's season finale. It's about a week late. Now on to editing down our thoughts on Fallout's 3rd episode of season 2 as we record our thoughts on the 4th episode of season 2 on Thursday, probably. Like Megan, you too can show up in the audience via the real-time chat. It's open to all, not just members, not just people who tip us. It's free. All you got to do is follow either our Ko-fi or Patreon page so that you're in the know when our schedule is updated. We don't post our schedule or the links to our studio on social media. Without further ado, you've reached the point of this podcast where we show some love to our supporters. It's a little perk that they receive at the end of every episode. We would normally start with the survivors tier, but we do not have any. So we're going to move on to our Whisperers members, starting with at Kim.Rally, the number 1 on Facebook, at Rob's Stuff _N as in Nancy _Thangs, THANGS, and newly minted, you've heard us talk about him, Jason, at Neo's the number 1 HEONE. So it's like Neo's the one on Instagram. We've got plenty of shows to whet your intellectual appetite in the meantime. I mentioned a couple of them at the end of this episode. Of course, we're talking about Fallout, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Dark Winds, new season of The Boys is set to be released on April. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon should be coming out sometime this year as they filmed very, very close together. Some rumblings are going on in the rumor sphere about a new Walking Dead spinoff on the horizon that may reunite Rick Grimes and Daryl Dixon. The rumor mill is too loud and noisy and full of speculation to really comment on. It really just sounds like regurgitated stuff from prior interviews and Q&As from months past. So as soon as there is development on that front, I will be letting you guys know, but we don't like to report on any unsubstantiated stuff. And if this is going to be the last podcast you hear from us for a little while, do yourself a favor, make sure you do subscribe to wherever you're listening to this from, as well as perhaps following us on social media. We do have an Instagram, X, Facebook, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, anything you could think of, we've got the social media account for it. It's usually at Squawking Dead or at Squawking _Dead as in X. And whether you are coming back for our next episode or not, that's okay. Just remember that we are Squawking Dead.